All right, Blake here with another one of your 12 tips of Christmas, and this one is the font. A font can make or break your composite work. 100% guaranteed every single time. If you don't have the font that you need to get your point across, you're gonna have to go out and find it. So here's the card that we created. And this font that I used was an Avengers font that I found online that someone happened to be selling for $25. So what happens when you find something for that price? You go out and you buy it. I don't care if it's 25 bucks, even for an element like this on my card. Why? Because it makes my life easy and it gets the point across that I need to get across for the card that I'm creating. If I would have just gone through my library of fonts and did something like this. This is Comic Sans, all right? Yeah, it's a comic book, but does that Comic Sans give this feeling of epicness to this card? No, it takes all of the crazy work that was done to this card and makes it look meh. Like, dude, come on, you could have done better with your font. I see this all the time. I see advertisements going out using things like Comic Sans. One of my favorite ones that you see people using all the time is the stencil font. You know, these are fonts that they're too literal. We see them all the time. So you're going to have to find a font that works for your card. Comic Sans didn't work. How about this one, which I think it's called Algeria or something like that. It's like this kind of old school type script font that might work for a Christmas card that was made for, I don't know, maybe the 1600s or something like that, but it's not working out very well for this one. Or how about this one? Monotype Corsiva, which you see this type of font used all the time in Christmas cards, which it has a time and a place in a card, but does it have a time and a place on this card? Not necessarily. This might be good for the back side of our card where it's just our family photo saying, hey, with love, the Rudas family. But for this card, you have to have that epic font. And if that means paying $25 to get that font, you do it. It's a drop in the bucket. I look at things differently than a lot of people do. Someone might say you paid $25 for a font, you're crazy. I might say, well, you paid $8 for Starbucks coffee 6 times this week. You're crazy. But you know what? It is what it is. Okay, I'll get off my high horse on that one. But let's look at the initial plan. With the initial plan, I wanted to have that Avengers style font. I wanted to look like the Avengers movie poster that we see right here. And even now as I look at it, I'm thinking to myself, dude, you could have gone a little bit further with that. You could have put a lot more detail in the ruggedness of the word Christmas here if I wanted to. I kind of like how clean it is on our card, but if you look at the Avengers card, it's a detail that I missed. Now I do have the stroke path here around the letters. The color's almost exact to a T of the Avengers color here that we have on this card. So, you know, I was close. It was pretty close, but at least I used a font that would make this card feel epic. And that's the important part. So if you're doing anything with text, it's really important that that text is unified in your piece. When I was in art school, one of the instructors saw a piece that someone was working on that they were drawing in the letters that were on a building. And the guy said, well, you know, if you're going to draw that stuff in and it doesn't look exactly like it was on that building, then I would probably just leave it out because the eye is going to go right towards that. Do you want the eye to go to a text that's not looking that great? Because then everyone's going to be fixated on it. And immediately from there on, I've always remembered that when I'm building a composite or when I'm building any type of my advertising material that I'm doing for my business, I always consider the font. Is the font what I want to convey in my image? It's just as important to convey it in your font as it is in the entire creative work that you're doing. You just watched a tip from a series I'm doing called the 12 Tips of Christmas. It's about this composited Christmas card that I did for our family. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, how this is going to work is over the course between the 13th and the 24th of December 2018, I'll be populating a new tip for the 12 Tips of Christmas. If you're on F64 Academy, you'll see that this page is being updated as those days progress. If at any point you want to catch up on these, you can either do it right here on F64 Academy on this page that you're watching right now, or if you're on the YouTube channel, type in F64 Academy and search for the playlist 12 Tips. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this. I sincerely appreciate it. Have a Merry Christmas.